Hello, Justin. This is Rod Risley. How are you today?
Very good, Rod. Great to meet you and
Good.
see you finally.
Good to see you finally. Tell us why you're running for office.
There are a few reasons. The easiest way to sum it up, I suppose, is that I've really, in the last year of involvement with Phi Theta Kappa, just discovered that leadership and connecting to other students, especially who are in similar positions to my own, has just been a totally transformative experience. It's just given me so much, and I'm in a position finally where wrapping up some of the heaviest workload of school, I feel sort of finally ready to really fully engage and maybe start giving back a little bit to the organization. That's really just made the last, especially year of my life, just totally different than anything I had seen previously.
Well, that's good to hear. It's nice to know that Phi Theta Kappa experience is having impact.
It definitely is.
All right. You wrote in your application about honors and action in the process, about the skills that we develop when we're engaged in honors and action projects. And you say in there that a person can gain by broadening their perspective. Can you tell us how, when you were engaged in an honors and action project, that actually happened to you, that you felt that your perspective had been broadened?
Absolutely, in several ways, really. Some of the earliest involvement I had in our Honors in Action project was sort of at a special request of our college president. And there's some engagement with a new campus that they're developing that's very health and sustainability oriented. And some of the honors topic themes that we were looking closely at tied very closely into that. And so some of the work I did initially really broadened my horizons in two completely different ways. And one was with the administrative end of my school. I found not only that there was this tremendous volume of support there, sort of waiting, that I really hadn't been aware of before, and a lot of political negotiation that I was sort of allowed to get a peek into early on into that process, as a lot of administrators took hands with things. But then directly when I really started working on the ground, trying to work in the area that our new campus for our school is being developed, is right on the edge of a very poor district that's had some very hard times over the last 10 or 20 years, and is just on the start of seeing some real redevelopment pushing into its area. And I was able to really find out that a lot of the people in my community that I wouldn't say I had a lot of bad prejudiced views, but I certainly had a lot of misunderstandings and missed connections between a lot of the folks that really had always been there around me growing up, but I didn't really understand how differently they lived, even though they lived really quite geographically close to me. So it really, the people I met through that and the others that I know working with me through our officer team that were able to interact, really found a lot of meaningful differences between, where we thought we were in our community and really how we can maybe bridge some of those gaps.
Okay, thank you. All right, lightning round. You ready?
Sure.
All right, sweet or savory?
Savory.
Super Bowl or World Cup?
World Cup.
Nerd Nation or Honors Institute?
Nerd Nation.
Dog or cat?
Yes.
Netflix or cable?
No.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hawking or Einstein?
Hawking and Einstein.
All right. Marvel Comics or DC Comics?
DC.
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 That's great.
I'm a Batman fan.
Very quickly, you talk about that students need to be thinking about the end game when they're enrolling in community college rather than just going through the process. What is your end game?
My end game is really positioning myself both with my educational credentials and with my community to find a real future that works for the two together for me. I'm very much very self-centered in a certain light, and that I realized after a dozen or more years working full-time for a job that really, it was a good, fulfilling job, but it wasn't leading me into a future that I wanted. And that for me was the real flip of a switch. It's really all got to work in a way that I love my life.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Justin, so much. We appreciate your stepping forward to seek international office, and we wish you the best.
Well, thank you very much for all you've done, and I hope to meet you down there pretty soon here.
Sure will. Thank you.
Take care.
You bet.